This is profoundly different from Newton's idea of space. Einstein's contribution to relativity has been reassessed by recent scholarship. His contribution to special relativity in 1905 was essentially to apply the ideas of electrodynamics to dynamics, notably that the speed of light in a vacuum, c, must also be constant in dynamics. The transformation was already inherent in electrodynamics, and the then new tensor algebra was developed by Lorentz, Poincaré, and several others to prove it. Einstein had a fluent grasp of Italian and read a paper in that language in which the famous idea of rest mass E equals mc squared was proposed. One of Einstein's important contributions was to prove this from the definition of relativistic momentum, P equals gamma mv, where gamma is the factor of the Lorentz transform. The rest energy and energy equation both follow from this definition. So, many scientists contributed to relativity, and there is more than one way of interpreting the special relativistic equations of Einstein. Horst Eckert, for example, has given a new interpretation on www.AIAS.us and published it recently. Recent scholarship has shown beyond reasonable doubt that Einstein's contributions to general relativity were important, otherwise we would not still be talking about him, but deeply flawed. The Einstein-Cartan-Evans theory is accepted as the one that most successfully mends the flaws in Einstein's mathematics. 20th century cosmology was fiction because it was based on a field equation of 1916, produced independently by Einstein and Hilbert. By now it is very easy to show, given an open mind, that this field equation is geometrically incorrect. There have been doubts about this equation since about 1918, when Schrödinger and Bauer found flaws in it, but due to apathy and dogma, the enemies of civilization, these valid criticisms have been ignored. Recently, in UFT 150 on www.AIAS.us, it has been shown that Einstein's calculation of light deflection by gravitation is incorrect. In the field equation, Einstein used the wrong symmetry for the geometrical connection, and in his light deflection calculation, he made a complete mess of working out an integral. It follows that 20th century cosmology was mythology, as is being realized very quickly now. Observations show that there was no Big Bang. Observations show that dark matter theory is wrong. The theory behind black holes is wrong. It should not surprise us in the least that these ideas are kept alive by a dogmatic academia that plays the role of dogmatic theology in earlier times. The same motives are still there, adherence to party lines, one way of summarizing them. In other words, cynical adherence to a power that in reality does not survive for very long. Cynicism becomes old and bitter and is not tolerated by a youthful era of civilization, by an enlightenment of new and spontaneous thought. So ECE theory has cleared the way for an entirely new era in scientific cosmology. Even the academic system itself has been swept away by a spontaneous flowering of new ideas, a flowering caused by enlightenment. Burning at the stake has gone out of fashion and has been replaced by the less deadly game of cyber-stalking. Human nature has not changed, and there is always a light side and always a dark side. Sometimes the coin falls briefly but vividly on the light side, and this is what we are seeing now. Academia controls the jobs, money, power and prizes, but for no purpose. Similarly, empty theological dogma degenerated into the horrors of the 30 Years' War, during which all kinds of cruelty were inflicted by dogmatists in the name of religion. Even by the standards of the 20th century, these cruelties were remarkable. It may well be that we will go to war over light deflection due to gravitation, but sane individuals have more important things to do, notably to survive. This means finding new sources of energy, and here again, ECE theory seems promising. A system of free thought has come into being spontaneously and has replaced academic dogma. One cannot stop people thinking for themselves. One cannot stop the march of ideas, as Victor Hugo wrote.